Okay, so Pesach. The Maran Shulchan Aruch wrote that 30 יום קודם הפסח שואלים בהלכות הפסח. That means 30 days before the Pesach, that means a month before, we start learning the laws of Pesach. Why is it so important? I mean, it didn't mention anywhere in any other Hag that you should learn 30 days before. It said that what's any other festival, we should learn about the festival that we're having to understand what is it about. But 30 days before, why is it so important? So the Maran Shulchan Aruch explained, when it's come to Ilchot Pesach, there is so many laws, there is so many minhagim that a person should know before we start. For example, how to hechsher the kelim. That means how to make the kelim kosher, part of the kelim, to be kosher. If you don't have special cutlery for Pesach, how to make them kosher for Pesach. That's number one. Number two, how to clean the house. Ilchot Pesach. Then, obviously, all the goods that we have to buy to Pesach. There is a different, we know that there is a different minhag. You know the Sfaradim allowed kitniot, to eat kitniot on Pesach. The Ashkenazim no. Now you're all going to jump and understand now that the Sfaradim allowed, it's just a joke. The Sfaradim allowed to eat kitniot on Pesach. But when it's come to Chodesh Elul, the Sfaradim say 30 days slichot. The Ashkenazim doesn't say. So they joke about it. They say because they eat kitniot on Pesach, let them pay. Let them do more slichot. It's just a joke. I just heard that. I say I must share it with you. Okay, so now we understand why the Maran wrote at the beginning of give me 1 second, Russell. At the beginning of Ilchot Pesach, that you should start studying all the laws of the Pesach 30 days before, a month before. Yes, Russell?
Can you translate kitniot?
Kitniot, okay. Kitniot is very simple. Kitniot is anything to do with
Beans.
not necessarily beans, anything.
Legumes.
Legume. I don't know if you understand what is it. You want me to explain that? Or you understand what is it? That means that anything like, for example, rice, consider kitniot. But it's not hametz, Rabotai. Kitniot, it's not hametz. Don't make the mistake. Kitniot is definitely not hametz. Mark, look at me with his eyes. Kitniot is not hametz. What is hametz? To understand what's the definition between them, we have to understand. Hametz, it's any flour, any kind of a flour, or not necessarily a flour, even wheat, that's been 18 minutes with water. More than 18 minutes. Over 18 minutes. That's considered hametz. That means yeast is a hametz. You understand what I'm saying? Definitely. Beer, whiskey, that's all considered as hametz. We all know that. So kitniot, there's no problem with that. We'll explain that after that when we go to have a schnapps. We'll explain what kitniot not allowed for certain people and why for us. There's different minhag. Okay, so now we understand why 30 days before the Pesach. Now we're going to come to Hag Pesach himself. You know how many names Hag Pesach have? Anyone have any idea? How many names Pesach have, that festival? And why? Why did they call it Pesach? We'll explain why. Okay, so Pesach have 4 names. I'm going to add up one more explanation today about Pesach. So the most common one, why they call it Pesach, Mishum shepasach HaKadosh Baruch Hu al avotenu b'Mitzrayim. That means that the main reason that they call it Pesach, Passover, because the Almighty, when He brought the plague of Makat Bechorot, the plague of the firstborn, He passed over the house of the Jewish people. Not only that, we explained when it came to the plagues, that even if a Jewish person was supposed to die on that night, HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't kill him. Didn't let the angel of death do his job on Pesach. Why? That the Egyptian wouldn't say that Has v'Shalom, HaKadosh Baruch Hu couldn't make the definition between Jewish and non-Jewish. So only the firstborn or the elderly person in the family die on that house. So because HaKadosh Baruch Hu passed over the house of the Jewish people, we call it Passover in English, Pesach. Milshon Psiha. That means over. But let's take the word Pesach, and now we're going to divide it to two. So if you call Pesach, how would you divide it to two? Pe-sah. Nachon? Pe is one word, and Sah is another word. Now let's translate it from Hebrew to English. Pe is a mouth. Nachon? Anyone doesn't understand Hebrew here? We all understand, Baruch Hashem. Menachem, you know better than me. What are you talking about? You don't understand Hebrew. So Pe, it's a mouth. Sah is talking. It's a verbal. What is the main mitzvah on Pesach? To talk about the Exodus. To talk about Yetziat Mitzrayim. It's a mitzvah. The main mitzvah of Pesach, Rabotai, besides eating the maror, eating the matzah, drinking the 4 cups, the main mitzvah of Pesach, that the person should speak about Yetziat Mitzrayim. To tell all the glories that HaKadosh Baruch Hu done for us. You understand what I'm saying, Rabotai? Therefore it's called Pesach. That's part of that mitzvah. It's to talk about Pesach. That's the main mitzvah, to talk. Now many people, I heard the shiur from Rav Ben Zion Mutzafi. When did I hear about it? I think yesterday or the day before I was listening to a show. And he explained, he said that in his olden days when he used to be young, he used to then most probably close to 70, 60. He said that they used to finish the Haggadah so quick at home, and then after they used to finish the Haggadah, they used to sit and start speaking about all the miracles and all the special glories that HaKadosh Baruch Hu done to the Jewish people when they left Egypt. So from here we see that the main mitzvah of Pesach, beside Achilat Matzah, eating the maror. Everyone know what is maror? Matzah, maror, everyone know? 4 cups of wine, everyone know? The main mitzvah is to speak about Yetziat Mitzrayim. So here we given 2 ideas what it's called, Pesach. 2. Let's go to the 3rd one. Any other name? Everyone remember? Haga Matzot. Why they call it Haga Matzot? Very simple. Because that everyone know what is a matzah. If we take the word matzah, the main reason is that they call it a matzah and not a lechem. Why they don't call it a bread? It is a bread. Because shelo speak batzekam shel Israel. That means that the dough of the Jewish people didn't have enough time to ferment, to erase, and then they made from it a matzah. That means it's after the name of the matzah because it didn't have a chance to raise enough, and then you can bake it. When the Jewish people obviously left Egypt, they didn't have enough. After that come Hag HaHirut. Everyone know what is Hirut? Hirut is freedom. Now you're all going to ask, okay, we become freedom. We're not anymore enslaved. You see, we can do whatever we want. But it's not true. So why do they call it Hag HaHirut? You understand my question, Rabotai? Because we're still living in a diaspora. We don't have Beit HaMikdash. What kind of a Hirut is that? Do you understand my question? So, number one, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out from the slavery. That it said there that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ilu lo haya HaKadosh Baruch Hu motzianu mimitzrayim, if he wouldn't take us out of Egypt, anachnu, that means that we, our father, our great-grandfather and great-grandfather and on and on and on, we still be slave to the Egyptian in Egypt. So from here we see that the freedom that we have today, maybe we don't have this kind of, we're not back in Beit HaMikdash. May please God, He will build speedily, and I'm going to go through that also. I want to reach to that how important is the month of Nisan, that we see that we have the freedom, as a slave. We have the physical freedom. But the spiritual freedom, that to worship HaKadosh Baruch Hu properly, to have Bet HaMikdash, please God, we'll see it in our days soon. Okay, and now we're going to number 5. Hag Aviv. Aviv. Anyone have any idea what does it mean?
Spring.
Spring. What's the connection? What's the connection? So you're all going to come and tell me because Pesach fall at the beginning of the spring. Nachon? Okay. But no. That's not the only main reason. So why you don't call Hag Hanukkah Hag HaHorif? Because Hanukkah, everyone know what is Hanukkah? Yeah, pashut. Hanukkah in Israel, when is it? Winter, nachon. So why don't call it Horif? Horif the word Horif in English, it means winter. Why don't call it that? The beginning? No, it's winter.
It's
December.
winter, but not at the beginning.
December is cold. December is cold, rainy. Okay, let's go one more step. If that's the case, why don't call Hag HaSukkot? That's when the time changed in Israel. You know, it's changed for summer, now to autumn. Why don't call them the Hag Autumn? You understand what I'm saying? So why is it called Hag Aviv? Why they call it Hag Aviv? To understand that, we have to take the word and we have to split it to two. Aviv, Aleph, Bet, Yud, Bet. Nachon? That's how you spell Aviv. Now let's take the first two, split it. What does it stand? Av. Av, it means father. Then you have Yud Bet. What does Yud Bet stand for? 12. Nachon? It's come to tell you that Hag Aviv, it means Hag Pesach, is the father for all the 12 months that we have. Now for us to understand, lehavdi. The Gentile called December the 12 months. Nachon? In Hebrew, you know which one is the 12 month? Adar. Adar is the 12 month. You look at me like you're not sure. You're sure about it? Okay. Nisan is the January. Lehavdil. You understand? So it's come to tell you the father of all the months. Which one of that? Nisan. That's why it's called, and Pesach fall there, that's why it's called Hag Aviv. Now we understand the 5 names that we have for Hag Pesach. So now when you hear Hag Pesach, you can understand plus minus all the name and you can understand where is it going. Okay. Now I'm going to go step ahead to the months of Nisan. We all know that in Nisan, from the beginning of the Nisan, from Rosh Chodesh Nisan until the end of Nisan, we don't say Tahanun. Why? So you're all going to tell me there is a festival. Okay, we have Purim now in Adar, but we say Tahanun. Before Purim, after Purim, we say Tahanun. How come that in the months of Nisan, we don't say Tahanun? Anyone have any idea?
Because there's a Rav Chodesh we don't say.
Yeah, but why? How's it come to Rav Chodesh? Why? Understand, Aleph is Rosh Chodesh, נכון? בסדר? You don't say Rosh Chodesh. Bet, Gimel, Daled, Hey, Vav, until Yud Gimel.
No, first there's the Chag, and then
which
there's
Chag?
the Chag of Pesach.
No, that's the Dvav. That's already on the 15.
It's in Nisan.
Yes. No.
Besides
So
that,
wait. Let's do like this, Gidon, you and me. Aleph, it's Rosh Chodesh, נכון? We don't say Tahanun. Now we jump to Pesach. So it's 15 plus 7, נכון? 15 plus 7, Kavbet, 22. No, but wait.
No, but there's also the Nesi'im, was the Chanukah.
Oh, what is Chanukah Nesi'im? Okay, so let me explain what's happened. In a time, let me go to the history. I'll go back. After the Jewish people left Egypt, on the second year after they left Egypt, they built the Mishkan. That's what we learn in Sefer Vayikra. Remember, in the end of Sefer Shmot, we explained how it's built and everything. At the beginning of Sefer Vayikra, we're speaking about the Mishkan. Everyone know what is it, a Mishkan? For sure? Just for us to understand that the tabernacle. The Mishkan, they finish in the second year. When did they finish it, Rabotai? Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And the beginning of Rosh Chodesh Nisan, they finished to build the Mishkan. The entire Mishkan was finished to be built. Now, every prince of every tribe, every day, it used to be a holiday for him. What does it mean a holiday? A festival. Why? Because every day one of the tribe used to bring a sacrifice to the altar, to the Mishkan, on the altar. So that day was a Yom Tov for him. The Gemara tell us, our sages tell us, that was Yom Tov. So we have Reuven, Shimon, Levy. We have 12, nachon? 12 tribes. We're already sitting on a 13. 13 was a Yom Tov. Because the Aleph doesn't fit with the rest of the tribes. So until the 13 is Yom Tov, nachon? So we have 13 days. Yudaled, that's the 14 of Nisan, is Erev Pesach, Rabotai. You have to prepare to burn the Hametz, to prepare yourself, nachon. You have to prepare for Korban Pesach in the time that there was in Bamidbar, and then in Eretz Israel when they used to have the Korban. That also was another holiday. Then we have 15, Tetvav, that's Pesach, until the 22. Most of the months, 22 days of the months already become Yom Tov. Therefore, our sages tell us in a Gemara that because most of the months was a Yom Tov, therefore, you don't say Tahanun, you don't say anything that have to do with sadness. We don't say Tahanun, we don't do Hespedim, we don't do any fasting on that month. You understand what I'm saying? No one allowed. Why? Because most of that month was a Yom Tov. Okay.
What happens with Tishrei? Tishrei, what's the story with Tishrei?
No, what's the problem? Ask me. I'm waiting for the question.
Days of Sukkot.
That's
Shonah's 10.
No.
Kippur's 11. So it's not quite half.
No.
It's nearly.
But that's most of it Hagim. Nachon? Yeah. But there it's not. If you look at it carefully on Tishrei, what's happening there this month? You have, let's start with Elul. You prepare Elul, nachon? Together. Then you have Rosh Hashanah, you have Yom Kippur. But if you look carefully, towards the end, you also don't say Tahanun all the time. You actually come to the following months that you only start. But part of it you do say Tahanun. Yeah, and a part of it.
The first part.
Yeah. But the end of the part again, because in that time also the Nesi'im used to bring. Very good. Okay, the Minhagim. Loud.
Why you don't say Tachanun on the 13th of Nisan?
Oh, very good. What did we say? It's a Yom Tov. Why Yom Tov? Rosh Chodesh Nisan, they build the Mishkan, nachon? Then the Kohanim start, the Nesi'im start bringing the Korbanot. It's a Yom Tov. Now, but you should ask me, no, you Dalet. Why not you Dalet? You Dalet. No, why you Dalet? It's Erev Yom Tov. We don't see. Okay, the Minhagim. Okay, we know that there is a Minhag in the month of Nisan every day, that means from Rosh Chodesh, from the Rosh Chodesh, until Yud Bet of Nisan, include Yud Bet, to say every day to read in Parashat HaNesi'im. Where is that? You read in the Parsha of the Nesi'im in Parashat Ba'alotcha. Parashat Ba'alotcha et HaNerot, that means, soon we're going to get to it. So, it said that every day you should read, like the first day, Reuven brought the Korban. You read the Korban, you read the Parsha of what it's mentioned in Parashat Ba'alotcha about Reuven. The second day, Shimon. No. So that's until the 12th. Okay? How is the Yud Gimel become, we say, Yom Tov? How does it become Yom Tov? Because in a Yud Gimel you read all Parashat HaNisim. That means you read Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, and on until all the 12. You understand? And then Erev Rosh Chodesh, we know that Erev Rosh Chodesh, we know what we have, Erev Rosh Hashanah, Erev Pesach, we know what we have to do. We have to prepare. There is the night before we do B'dikat Hametz. In the morning we burning the Hametz. Everyone know, the old Hametz, you know? And there is a brocha that you burning the Hametz. We don't say on it. We have to say Kol Hamira De'aka Birshuti, the Be'arte the Lo Be'arte. That means every kind of Hametz that I have in my belonging, in my position, that I saw, that I didn't see, that I actually sold or I didn't sell, you know? Everyone know the Nusa. Okay. Then there is another minhag. To read Tehillim, chapter 20. Ya'ancha Hashem beyom tzara. That you should say that capital of Tehillim, number 20, during the month of Nisan, except, obviously, Erev Yom Tov and Chol HaMoed. Why? Because during that time, the Jewish people, that when they left Egypt was underneath the most difficult problem. Why? Because the Egyptian, when they ran away, Egyptian was running after them. And when they get to the sea, that it was Shve'i Shel Pesach, we'll explain that. That was, they say, our sages tell us in the Gemara, that was the day that very difficult for the Jewish people. Why? Because the Satan, everyone know what is a Satan? The Satan, everyone know what is it, the Satan. Used to be, come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how are you going to redeem those people? Why are you going to save them? Why should I allow him, the sea to get split? There was idol worshippers, you said the Egyptian. Also, the Jewish people, they worship idols. So it was HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent as our defender, and the Satan was criticized the Jewish people. In the end, Baruch Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu managed to keep the Satan's mouth quiet. May please God, he'll keep him permanently quiet. Okay. The Shabbos before, Rabotai, listen to it. The Shabbos before the month, before Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Okay, we read in the book of Shmot, HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem. That means we read Parashat HaChodesh. The Shabbos before Rosh Chodesh, it means if Shabbos is supposed to be, let's say, on Wednesday, the Shabbos before we read Parashat HaChodesh to remind everyone, the main reason for is why do we read Parashat HaChodesh? To remind everyone that we're entering the month of Nisan and to start learning the law of Pesach. Okay. Shabbat before Pesach. The Shabbat before Pesach. What is it called?
Shabbat HaGadol.
Yeah. Why? Why they call it Shabbat HaGadol? Why is it so big? Korban Pesach. What's the connection? Korban Pesach. No. Shabbat HaGadol, the big Shabbos. Why they call it big Shabbos? To remind us the miracle that happened. What was the miracle, Rabota? Anyone have any idea? You remember who was the god of the Egyptian? The lamb. Nachon? What the Jewish people done a week before? They took a lamb. Nachon? Moshe Rabbeinu been commanded by Kadosh Baruch Hu. They took a lamb, tied the lamb next to their bed, and the Egyptians see that. Are you taking our God and tie it next to our bed? Why are you doing it? What the Jewish people said to the Egyptian? I'm going to shecht your God. Kaput. No more God of the Egyptian. What the Egyptian said? Zip. Not only that, imagine, lehavdil, has v'shalom. If a Gentile going to come, and he going to say to you, I'm going to take the Jewish flag and I'm going to burn it in the front of you. What are you going to do to him? I don't have to mention. Before he even light the match, we're going to break his hand. I don't want to mention Haz v'Shalom if they take our Bible, what we're going to do to them. So here the Jewish people took the God of the Egyptian, and they're telling the Egyptian, they're preparing them, I'm going to slaughter your God in 7 days. And the Egyptian didn't say nothing, didn't do nothing. That by himself, it's a big miracle. You understand? That's one opinion. The other opinion, what it means Shabbat HaGadol, there is another minhag, that on Shabbat HaGadol, the rabbi of every congregation stand up and start speaking about the law of Pesach. Why? Because there is so many laws, there is so many things to understand before Pesach, that you have to speak about Pesach, to explain that. That's why it goes Shabbat HaGadol. What it means Gadol, big. Why? Because there is so much big things to understand about Pesach. That's the two opinions. Let's carry on. So we understand up to here. Okay, now, how much time we have? Anyone keep time? Should I carry on for another few minutes? You don't mind, guys? Okay. How come we ask a question at the beginning? Why we don't say a brocha about the Agada, but the Megillah we do say. נכון that? Megillat Esther. אשר קידשנו בנותיו ציוונו על קריאת מגילה. נכון? That's what we say. But the Agada we don't have that. Why? Anyone have any idea? Did you ask yourself this question?
It's a mitzvah ben adam lechavero.
What? The קריאת מגילה? No. What mitzvah between Adam LaHavero? You read the
Tell
Megillah?
your son.
Huh?
Tell your son.
You're talking about the Agada. Okay. So,
It's a mitzvah ben adam lechavero. You don't make.
but if, okay, let's say that you're telling someone else, and if you by yourself, a person that doesn't have kids, so, and then what? He's telling to himself. So there is few explanations. One reason is that the mitzvah of telling the story of Yetziat Mitzrayim, there is no limit to it. We say about it, how many times a day we mention it? And Shirat Hayam. Remember? What else? When do we mention it?
Shema.
The Shema. What else? Nachon. All the time we mention it. There is no limit to it. There is no special time. That's one opinion. The other opinion is that, what do we say in the Kiddush? In the Kiddush of Pesach. In every Kiddush you mentioned, what do we say? Al Yetziat? So if you say the brocha on it, on a Kiddush, and you mention Yetziat Mitzrayim, it's like you say the brocha on the Haggadah. You understand? Nachon that you're doing it on a Kiddush. I'm not saying no. But by mentioning it, it's the same like you're saying it on a Haggadah. That's other opinion that our sages bring. Okay. Now we promise I'm going to go through number 4. Okay. So the main reason is, why do we drink 4 cups? Anyone know? So the Gemara in Masechet Pesachim bring 6 opinions. 1, that it's mentioned 4 times how HaKadosh Baruch Hu redeemed us. That means V'otzeti, and I took you out of Egypt. Ve'etzalti, that I saved you. Ga'alti, I redeemed you. Ve'lakachti, that I make you to a nation. Those are the 4 words. They said that was the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan, that said that Arba'a Leshonot Shel Geula. That's why we drink, 4 cups. Other opinion. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levy Omer that the main reason is that we drink 4 cups because on a dream of Pharaoh, you remember the dream of Pharaoh that he was worried, mentioned them the word kos 4 times. The word glass mentioned there 4 times. Therefore, we have to drink 4 cups. Our sages tell us that when the Mashiach comes, please God speedily in our days, He gonna, for all the harm that all the nation that to the Jewish people, those people that was horrible. You know, the Nazis, the Greeks, Kadosh Baruch Hu going to bring on them 4 different makot, 4 different plagues. The Maharal say completely different else. The Maharal say we have 4 mothers. Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. Therefore we drink 4 cups of wine. Now you're all going to say, okay, that's fine. 4 for the mothers. Where's the 3 father? Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Where are they? 3 matzot. You remember we have 3 matzot that we put together? Those for them. Okay, then come Rabbi Levy say that it was the 4th kingdom that we have. Who they are? The Babylonian. Then Malchut Madai. Then Yavan. That's the Greek. And Edom. Today we're still underneath that kingdom that they're controlling us. And the Levush, Rabbi Mordechai Yaffe, he said that a person every day have 4 mitzvot. And what are they? About the 4 mitzvot that they have, that they kept when they was in Egypt. What are they? Sorry?
Clothes.
They didn't change their clothes. They didn't change their names. 2, no? Yeah. Didn't change their name. Didn't change their language. Leshonam. No, what else? Huh? So, intermarriage. Number 3. Number 4. That's the most difficult one. No, almost. They didn't used to give up one each other. That means that they didn't. Lo hayu malshinim. Everyone know what is malshin? Malshin. You don't know what is a malshin? A moser. You know what is it, a moser?
Slanderer.
Sorry?
Slanderer.
That's it. That they never given one to each other. That if someone didn't done something wrong, Kadosh Baruch Hu said, for those one that you kept yourself, you have to drink 4 cups of wine.